Microphone check. Muted. There we go. Another day, another mute. We did it. Started it. 10 minutes. Don't give me 10 minutes today. 4 minutes. I'm getting bad at time management. It's getting worse. I didn't even know. I was watching a clip of Jasmine Crockett, and then it was 9:32. I was like, uh-oh, we're in trouble. So there we go. Sorry for being late, everybody. Thanks for those of you that stayed up late with us last night. We were on with Admir. I would be honest. It's a weird position that we're in right now, where we have half the country who obviously knows that they're wrong, or half the voting bloc. Let's say that legitimately knows that they're wrong about things, and they're just going to keep going with it. Like, there's not really an argument at this point that Abrego Garcia is not getting due process, that we're not stripping people of due process. Everybody's pretty aware of it. The Supreme Court ruled 9-0, and yet for however many hours, we were done at like 9:30 or so 4 hours, 4 straight hours was spent convincing Republicans that the Supreme Court ruling 9-0 and you just saying no is a problem. It's crazy that we have to convince them of that. They're so they have so much Trump derangement syndrome that for 4 hours, we can't convince a single one of them to say, you know what, if the Supreme Court rules that the law was not followed and that you must follow the law, maybe you should follow the law. And they're just like, no, that's not it. I fell asleep on my pods and woke up screaming. It did get hot after that. Admir's got some beef. And I'm going to be honest, I'm thrilled not to be part of that. It's not something I get involved with, but I didn't mind watching it. I don't mind watching a little MAGA on MAGA violence. Pulling up real quick, just pulling up the Venmo and Cash App, which is a good time to remind everybody that we are crowdfunded here. So if you'd like to donate to the show, go ahead. Tex is here. You sounded like a whiny bitch last night. Cooked. Tex is too goddamn dumb to know. That's the crazy thing. I know. I was sent a clip from another live, they kind of got together and they held a live talking about how they won that debate. That's a wild thing to say, and I don't know what to do about that other than laugh. If you watched that debate last night and you think that at any point anybody articulated a response at how Abrego Garcia was given due process, you're out of your fucking mind. And that goes for you too, Tex. And honestly, Tex, I think you're just bitter. I think you're bitter that you're blocked. I think you're bitter that I don't message you anymore, and so now you're doing this. But like 3 weeks ago, you would have said something completely different. You're entirely run by your emotions. Most of you guys are at this point. I just don't know what to do about that debate. I mean, what do you say? A guy gets handcuffed, put in a plane, sent to prison with no court case, and we can't convince you that his due process wasn't violated? By the way, I do want to point out one thing. I know some people were frustrated. I don't remember who it was in the chat that the Patriot Act has been revoked, sort of, right? So I think it was 2015 or 2017. I can't remember what year. It was not reauthorized, but parts of the Patriot Act have been reauthorized, and the ability for the president to deport somebody, to name somebody a terrorist and then deport them, that is still intact. That's where Republicans are right, and that's the thing. This is what confirmation bias does to you. The argument is not, can Donald Trump, can the Secretary of State, do they have broad authority to impose deportations? Sure. I don't like it. I think they have too much power, but they do have it. And the courts have ruled that they do have it. These aren't deportation. When you handcuff somebody and throw them in prison, that is not a deportation. That's a kidnapping. And once again, I just want to throw out there to everybody, El Salvador is on the record saying we do not suspect Abrego Garcia of a crime. We have not charged Abrego Garcia with a crime. What you're seeing right now is Trump people scrambling to defend the indefensible because that's what they do. They show up every day and they go, how can I defend Donald Trump today? And they will not admit that he did something wrong, because the second you admit Donald Trump did something wrong, the second you start looking at things through a lens of maybe he's not a genius, it becomes painfully obvious very quickly that that man is not a genius. Admin needs to fix his internet. Yeah, I'm with you. I mean, Jen, we're talking about that before. We got to do something about that. I can hear the debate. You guys can't. I went and tried to just like re-listen to part of it. It's unwatchable. So I agree with you. We got to do something about the internet. Maybe we will host it on so that I can stream it from here, but I'll just have Admir be the moderator, and people can bring their mods if they need to. So yeah, I agree with that. Swish says, "Is that a blue? Is that hat blue or green? It's black but faded with the sun." But it is blending in with my green screen. I had a hard time getting the filter correct, so it didn't bleed too much. Amy said, I gave you way too much money last night on Admir's Live. It did make MJ supporters. To up his by a lot. Yes, he did great last night. He did really, really great last night. And I think Charles brought this in. He's Hamilton funded. That was 15 hours ago. Yeah. Oh, okay, that was yesterday. All right, let's get to the news today. First, I just want to show you, Lincoln Project knows how to get under Trump's skin. I think this ad's a little bit older, but I'm going to play it anyways because it's the first time I've seen it.
It's funny, Donald. This time it only took 2 months before your own team started stabbing you in the back and tearing each other apart. The knives are out. Elon attacking Peter Navarro and calling him dumber than a box of rocks. Navarro blasting back. Howard Lutnick under fire from your own West Wing. These idiots, please. Anonymous sources, leaking. Drip, 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 Donald. Everyone around you is fighting, Donald. Not for you, for themselves, for their power. They're all leaking to the media. Telling the truth about your mess, your mistakes, your embarrassing performance at everything. And while they're fighting, you're sinking. Looked at your polls lately? Don't. They're as bad as your stock market. You thought they'd be loyal to you, Donald. Are you really that naive? They're ripping you off, getting power and fame from you while leaking against you. It's sad, Donald. So sad.
They always run these too in like down there in Mar-a-Lago, so to make sure that they can see him. They just know how to get under his skin. This guy is losing everything he's doing. That's the theme of today's show. Donald Trump is now walking back virtually everything he promised you that he would do. He's doing what we told him to do the whole time. He's completely capitulating. He's proving day in and day out that he was wrong and we were right, and he was the wrong person for the job. And yet, here we are. In Tennessee, though, they're trying to outdumb Trump. This is from Tennessee Holler. That's why you have all the extra stuff here. This is a representative named Brock Martin. And in Tennessee, they passed a bill protecting IVF. And Brock Martin voted for that bill. And now Brock Martin has joined this list of members, Monty Fritz, Michelle Renault, Jody Barrett, Ed Butler, Timothy Hill, Todd Warner, Kip Capley, Aaron Mayberry, Scott Saficki, and then him, Brock Martin. And now they are asking the governor to veto the bill that protects IVF, saying that they're trying to protect life. Here is Tennessee Holler confronting Brock Martin, and he has no clue what he just did. He has no clue why they are asking the governor to veto the protection for birth control and IVF.
Aren't you guys showing why that bill is needed by sending that letter?
What's that?
For him to veto that bill? Aren't you showing exactly why the bill is needed? Aren't you guys the reason that bill is needed?
What's that?
Sending that letter to get him to veto the bill? Doesn't that show exactly why the bill is needed?
What's the reasoning for that?
To protect IVF and contraception?
Yeah, I believe in that. That's what we're doing. Allowing that to happen. But it's also protecting life.
To get him to veto it?
But protecting the life is still an important aspect
Why,
of it.
if you believe in
Okay, so this is why he's confused. He's like, yeah, I voted for that bill. And they're like, but you also asked the governor to veto it. So what are you doing? No, we did the bill. Why are you asking for a veto then? No clue.
why are you trying to get him to veto a bill that protects it by a Republican?
I don't know,
How does
man.
that make any sense? As soon as you see
I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm just following orders. None of this MAGA shit makes any goddamn sense. Nothing we do makes any fucking sense. I don't know. They told me to sign the letter. I signed the letter.
Yeah, I don't know.
You're saying you want to protect something that you're trying to block protections for. How does that make sense?
I don't know, man. That's how those rules work sometimes.
You signed the letter.
That's how those laws work sometimes.
No.
We don't want to open up doors that they can't do it.
No, that's not how the laws work. You're signing a letter that you're saying you don't believe in.
They don't believe it.
You want protections for IVF and contraceptives, right?
Yep.
So why are you trying to block the government from protecting those things?
I don't know, man. That's not how that process works. You know that. You know how the laws work. If we open up the door.
What is he talking about? I don't know, man. You know how the laws work. Yeah, you signed it into law, and the government's supposed to sign it. But now the thing that you guys are, the law that you passed, you're asking him not to sign it. It's crazy. This is a elected representative. It's further proof, honestly, that if you are a Republican, you're just supposed to say things about, specifically trans people. You're supposed to praise Trump. You're supposed to call out the Democrats. But none of these people really know. They get into office. They have no clue what they're doing. This entire administration, the Tennessee Assembly, which is a laughingstock in America, they have no clue what they're doing because they just run on these like weird fringe social issues that get people pissed off, and they have no idea how to legislate.
To it, it could potentially block that aspect of it.
What are you talking about, man?
Chris Todd is going to steer you wrong every time, man. It's time you figure that out. Because you were one of the surprises on there. The other guys are nuts.
Yeah.
You kind of was like
Well,
surprised.
I believe I'm gonna always stand on the side of life, man. So
you think
Nah, Jen, I don't hear the vibration noise, but we'll get through it after this and see if it does it on the next one.
it's not pro-life to protect IVF?
I think we can do both, and we're gonna work on that. But I don't want to open the door.
So you think Johnny Garrett's not pro-life?
No, I'm not saying that. I'm just
But
saying in my world,
you stood up and argued for the bill.
in my side of the world, I think we can do some better with that.
So you think IVF is not pro-life?
I didn't say that.
So why would you want him to veto the bill? Like, I still haven't gotten there at that point.
I just think we need to look at all sides of it, come up with the aspects
Isn't that all sides of what?
of the argument. If we open the door, if it potentially opens the door, it could potentially
Say more about that genuinely. I don't understand what that means. Opens the door to what?
if it were to potentially open the door to issues, this abortion or anything else.
Issues.
Those are just words, dude. You're not saying anything. This is a gaslight-free zone. I don't understand what you mean here. Can you please explain yourself?
We'll talk about it. I know. That's like the time to talk about it. We're gonna.
Yes, it is. We're going to set up a meeting?
You can come down. You can talk to me anytime, dude.
Okay.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm not like that. You know.
Set up a meeting.
Yeah, come hang out.
I will.
Come do that. I promise. That's how I roll. I'm not like that other.
I would love to.
That's not how I
You were
operate.
one of the surprises why I'm
I know,
asking you.
and that's why I listen down and talk and have an hour.
No clue. Just no idea why he just asked the governor to veto a bill that he passed through. Johnny says muted. Fuck you, Johnny. That's not nice. Let me read a couple messages that came through. Leslie says, Jay, I live in Cottonwood, Arizona. Can you talk a little bit about the immigration bill the Republicans are trying to pass and how it compares to what Arpaio did? Are you talking about an Arizona bill, or are you talking about... I'm not 100% sure what you're talking about. DM Jen on Discord if you can. I'm not... If there's a bill in the Arizona Senate, it's possible I'm unaware of it. Kelly said, forgive him hell today. Low info morons. Thank you very much. All right, Jen, you want to do your announcements real quick? Kick this off. Jen. Maybe. Are you talking, Jen?
Sorry, the mouse was
Oh,
still
there you
moving, so I gotta mute myself. That was fun.
Been there.
Yeah, no, Admir's, it's like when he was home for that short period of time, his Wi-Fi was okay, but then he went somewhere else and whack again. All right, so as most of you know, this is our job. We do this each day, Monday through Friday, from 9:30 a.m. to 1 Pacific time. Top left-hand corner is our gift goal. We need to knock out that goal by the end of the show so we can keep lights on and keep doing what we're doing. If you haven't already subscribed to us on Twitch, you can use your Amazon Prime sub. Please also subscribe to us on YouTube. If you'd like to join, we've got 4 different paid memberships. And if there is, it looks like it's still a little early for the opposition to come in. They're probably still waking up, but if you guys would like to come up and talk to Jay if you disagree with him on anything, how you do that is you DM me on Discord. It's the same as the Venmo. So Jen, JENN.DUBB, the number 1. Message me on Discord and we can get you on to talk. It's pretty simple. I've done it many times. So BR212, you are here all the time. You're a fan at this point. You should you probably subscribe. You should. Because you were in here last night too. You're here all the time.
Welcome. It's good to have you here.
Yeah, I'm assuming their gender. Oh yeah, that's right. He says they're paid by Soros, and I've said to people.
I like that he says accusing us of being paid by an NGO means that we're not paid by like a political party. That's what every organization that's not a government organization is, an NGO, a non-government governmental organization. So yeah, like even if we were paid, I guess technically all of the people who donate here are a non-governmental organization. So I guess he might not be wrong like that.
Sure. I mean, I saw the Soros comments a couple times. Jay may be a little anti-Soros. I'd be open up to a conversation to see about getting some funding. But that's just me.
Jen would take the call. Jen's taking Soros's call for sure.
I definitely would. I would entertain the conversation for a little bit. I mean, it's what happens when you don't have a soul. So
yeah.
But yeah, so if you want to get on the conversation with Jay, message me on Discord. It's the same as the Venmo. Also check out our link tree for other socials and our merch. And once again, we want to knock out that gift goal. Venmo, Cash App, PayPal, Super Chats all go towards knocking out that remaining gift goal number. What did Spartacus say when the lion ate his wife?
What did Spartacus say when the lion ate his wife?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Nothing. He was gladiator.
Thank you. All right. So the White House did this thing, which on the surface kind of sounds cool, where they talk about bringing in new media. What we've learned about the White House is when they say we're going to bring in new media, they mean like bootlick media. So yesterday, Caroline Leavitt opened up the session and gave the first question to our good friend, Tim Pool. Remember Tim Pool? You guys might remember Tim Pool. He's that guy that was taking $400,000, I think a month, from Russia to do Russian propaganda. He's also had to pay out, he had to pay out a lawsuit. I don't remember who the shooter was. There was it was one of the shootings. It's crazy that we can't remember, where he incorrectly identified who the shooter was. They posted the picture of the shooter. They didn't do due diligence. He wound up having to pay a settlement. He didn't even go to court. He just paid it. He is somebody who he predicted Trump would win all 50 states in 2020. He is wildly wrong on almost every prediction he ever makes. But he is, despite pretending to be a liberal for like the last 8 years, his channel is entirely beholden to Trump and entirely beholden to MAGA. And so naturally, not only did he get access to ask questions, by the way, I applied for the press credentials too. I haven't even heard back from them. I just wanted to see what would happen. Not even like a follow-up, we've received your email, we'll let you know. Just nothing. There was I think it was maybe 60 Minutes, might have been somebody else. Somebody did a breakdown of all the journalists, all the non-legacy media journalists that they're bringing in, and they're all just like far right online creators. Every one of them. You're not seeing Ed Krasenstein or Midas Touch or who else is big on that does like news, or Aaron Parnas or Aaron Rupart. None of those guys are getting an invite. It's all just right wingers. But here's the question. First of all, Tim Pool, tighten your shit up, brother. Tighten your shit up. You can't ask a question that is 4 minutes long. You got to slow down on your question. Tim Pool poisons the well because that's what Tim Pool does. He doesn't know how to ask just a normal question. But here's how we kicked things off with Tim Pool yesterday.
Many of the news organizations that are represented in this room have marched in lockstep on false narratives, such as the Very Fine People hoax, the Covington smear, and now what's being called the Maryland Man hoax.
Nobody's calling it the Maryland Man hoax. The Very Fine People thing's not a fucking hoax. It's not a hoax. We just have a difference of opinion. I don't think there were any good people marching with the Nazis. Trump does. That's not a hoax. It's not a hoax when they say Trump called the people, the Nazis that were marching very fine people. I've yet to have a Republican point to the people that were marching and show me who those very fine people were. If you are marching with Nazis, you're probably like cool with Nazis. If you're walking around and the people walking with you are chanting "Jews will not replace us" and you're carrying torches, yeah, I don't know if you're very fine people. It's not a hoax. It's just that, like, your fans are Nazis. And since they give you money, you're like, oh, these are actually just good people. That's not a hoax. What is the Covington smear? What is that? Does anybody know what the Covington smear is? These are so, like... Oh, that's the Catholic... is that the kid that was, like, in somebody's face? Yeah. Okay, so... Nicholas Sandman, in particular, harassing a Native American elder named Nathan Phillips. Worse than the wreck. Let's see. Can we just see the video? Let's see if I can just pull up the video. Anyway, you guys know what that is. We don't need to watch that video. Actually, I don't know why I'm looking for that. The Covington. I don't even remember what. I don't even remember how that turned out to be. Like, it's ironic though that this is on Fox News. We're talking to Caroline Leavitt. Fox News was sued for $800 million for lying on air every single day. And he starts us off like, these people in this room are lying. You've had to pay out settlements yourself for lying, Tim Pool. And you are a paid propagandist for Russia. And that's how we start this off.
Where an MS-13 gang member adjudicated by 2 different judges, I believe, is just simply being referred to as a Maryland man over and over again. Now, in an effort from the White House to expand access to new companies, you've created this new media seat. So I'm wondering if you can comment on, following this expansion, you've had numerous outlets disparage the companies that you've had sit here, as well as the reporters. I'm wondering if you can comment on that unprofessional behavior, as well as elaborate if there's any plans to expand access to new companies.
Sure. Well, we certainly welcome diverse viewpoints in this room, which is one of the
reasons. But yeah. Crazy question. That is one of the most prolific purveyors of misinformation White House has in there, and he starts off by just like talking shit about everybody else in the room. That's what republicanism is. It's just constant victimhood. Hey, can you tell us more how we're the victims? Pete Buttigieg. This is unpopular. I think Pete Buttigieg is who we should run for president, and it's because of this. There is nobody else on our side of the aisle that can do this. Pete Buttigieg went on Flagrant, which is Andrew Schultz's podcast. We've shown a couple of clips from him recently. One of them, I'm trying to remember who they even had on, and there was some pushback there. Who did they have on? Anyways, we've showed some Andrew Schultz podcasts here recently. Pete Buttigieg went on this podcast for 3 hours, maybe it was 3.5 hours. Pete Buttigieg can explain things succinctly and in a way that it's very difficult to disagree with because he's so well informed. Here's Pete Buttigieg with his man beard, which I like, on Flagrant Podcast, just talking about the importance of government funding. Republicans have gone down this rabbit hole now where like all government spending is bad, even though we cut almost no government spending. And that's like the talking point that all these podcast bros are saying. They think they understand things. They don't understand it. So Pete Buttigieg had to come on to explain it.
Goes into or is supposed to go into here in the U.S. is what then turns around and makes it possible for businesses to thrive.
Can you give us an example of that?
Yeah, my favorite example is probably the smartphone. So, have you ever noticed, like in like talks or like whenever somebody mentions a smartphone, they like start to pull it out of their pocket or touch it. But so the federal government could not have invented the iPhone, right? Like I don't think any of us would want a phone that was like invented by the federal government.
That thing would suck.
That is like all of the design, the manufacturing, supply chains. That's the kind of thing that corporations can do very well, and Apple did it very well, and their competitors.
There's a reverb on all the videos. Let me see what I can do about that. Any ideas? Sorry, guys. Is everybody getting a reverb on the video? Make sure this is the right mic. You might be picking up the wrong microphone. Let me look.
Yeah, I text you what it sounds like on our end so you can hear it.
Down. me see if you guys can hear it when I do this.
But
Can you hear
what
that
makes the
still?
iPhone work?
Did that fix it? Let me play it for a couple seconds.
The corporations can do very well, and Apple did it very well, and their competitors. But what makes the iPhone work? Well, among other things, the internet. The internet was literally invented.
All right, I don't know where the reverb's coming from. Sorry, guys. I think we're just gonna have to deal with it today. Let me go back.
But what makes the iPhone work? Well, among other things, the internet. The internet was literally invented by a federal research project. And it would never have been possible to invent the internet with a private company because you wouldn't have got the kind of capital return, even though it's $1 trillion idea or a multi-trillion dollar idea. You know, companies can do multi-billion dollar ideas, but $1 trillion idea, like inventing the internet, that requires basic research. And that's the kind of thing the government's supposed to do, among many other things.
It requires basic research? What is that?
Yeah, by basic research, I mean things that are so fundamental that you actually don't know for 50 or 100 years if they're going to have a return. They might never work out.
Oh, right. Yeah. You can't look at it as this thing is going to be profitable. It has to be
so it's different
benevolent
from
endeavor for society.
Yeah, it's different from research on like a pharmaceutical company researches a new medication, expecting that they're going to
there's going to be a return in the next 10, 20 years.
Right, at least kind of within the profit run.
Yeah. But public parks is another version of this and stuff like that. You can't privatize the public park.
Right. This is the whole idea of public goods. Right? This is why we have governments, why we collect taxes.
God, we're turning into such libs already, dude.
But there's a handshake, right? There are the things that only the government can do, and then there are the things that the private sector can and should do, and they meet in the middle. But if you start shorting, and part of what really worries me right now about this kind of war on academia, and there's some things about academia that need to change, but the war on academia, the cuts to cancer research, the cuts to science research, this kind of like general anti-science like atmosphere that I think is emanating from the administration, like that costs us in ways that don't show up on a corporate profit and loss statement 6 months from now or a year from now. But in terms of whether a country, a society, an economy is productive and is growing and is innovating, that starts to really cost you over time. And if we're shorting that, or if corporations and extremely wealthy people don't want to be paying into that through taxes, that is, I think, a classic example of a kind of short-term gain that causes long-term pain.
Perfect. Now, I don't know if any of that got through to Andrew Schultz, but it is important to draw a line of delineation between you and your point of view and the Trump point of view. One thing that polling is starting to show now is that a majority of Americans don't really think that there's a plan here. They don't really think that we'll get to that later, because every plan that Trump claims he's going to roll out, he winds up backsliding. I also want to say this: Andrew Schultz is a Trumper, and I think it's entirely possible that we have just overcomplicated why people voted for Trump. Here's Andrew Schultz, like, this is his real opinion on why he voted for Trump, and this is crazy. I just want to put this out, like, this is why we don't really necessarily love the podcast bros. He has a massive influence on people, and here's why he voted for Trump.
The sides switched so much. You know, when I was younger, like, Democrats were cool. They were getting their dick sucked in the office. They were like, right? They were like supportive of like hip hop music. They said, do whatever you want. Like, we don't want to be in your bedroom. They were cool with gay people. Like, it was cool to be a Democrat. Now, conservatives got 3 baby mamas. The president got 3 baby mamas. He's getting pussy left and right. Right? He's cool. He's the one saying, say whatever the fuck you want. So now conservatives have become Democrats. So I don't think I've changed. I just like the dudes that get pussy and say whatever they want.
Yeah. Except for the weird thing is that the thing he said, like, oh, we were cool with everything. We were cool with gay marriage. Well, they're not. So it seems like you didn't really care about gay marriage. It seems like you didn't care about these social issues. You just want to be able to say whatever the fuck you want with no repercussions. And by the way, that's a societal thing. When Andrew Schultz has gotten in trouble, and he's gotten in trouble a few times, he's had to walk back some comments. It's never been the government that stepped in. It's just culturally people step in. And with Andrew Schultz, as rich as he's gotten away from like what the average person experiences. They insulate themselves. You get to a level of fame, you get insulated. You're around other people that are also insulating themselves, and you all just want to be able to say whatever the fuck you want, which is fine. You can say whatever the fuck you want in America. You could do it, unless Trump gets his way, in which case there's going to be a lot of things that are off limits. But that's the reality that we're facing here. Is people voted for Trump because he's a scumbag. That's what he's saying right there. Like, I just voted for him because he's got 3 baby mamas. He's having sex with everybody and he says whatever he wants. That's probably not a great way to choose the president. That might be a way you want to choose like who you hang out with, but you're not hanging out with the president. We need the president to negotiate trade deals. We need the president to negotiate peace. We need the president to lead on critical issues, and he's not. He's not doing any of that stuff. He's just a bro, and so the bros like him because the bros are like, you know what I hate? I hate when I say something that offends people, and then I have to deal with the repercussions. I don't know if we can get Andrew Schultz back, but it's fine. His numbers are cratering anyways. The other reason that we have a hard time, I think, getting through is that nobody wants to get the right answer here. Here's Byron Donalds. We showed him yesterday. I'm going to show him in his getting booed in his town hall. After he gets booed in his town hall, he goes and visits CNN, and he has 4 minutes here to answer a question, and he can't do it without doing whataboutism.
Speaking of doing his job, our Natasha Bertrand has reporting that the White House couldn't even get in touch with his chief of staff for 3 weeks to get them to sign something. And then you have one of his closest advisors, his former former press secretary, saying this, and he sent us a statement. It's been a month of total chaos at the Pentagon, from leaks of sensitive operational plans to mass firings. The dysfunction is now a major distraction for the president, who deserves better from his senior leadership.
That's a person defending Trump, just so we're clear here. This is a person who likes Trump, who's defending Trump, who says like, hey, he deserves better than this incompetent drunk. So before you get too excited about defending Pete Hegseth, the people that work with Pete Hegseth that want Trump to get his way, they're all saying this guy's not helping Trump. This guy's hurting Trump. So I don't know what MAGA is supposed to do about this. If I were you, if you're all in it, if you're like Trump's the leader, we got to do what he says, then you should be on board with getting rid of Pete Hegseth too. I don't know why we can't agree on that.
Does this not bother you at all?
Look, first of all, let's lay out a couple things.
Yeah. Yeah, I bet these things that he's about to lay out are all going to be about what she just said, and definitely not deflections.
Pete Hegseth has been on the job, 6 weeks now? Just about?
Low boy. This is Byron Donalds. He's a Republican. I'm listening to him. You guys are so triggered by CNN. We see CNN in the corner, and you get the Republicans like, I'm not watching it! I'm not! It's got CNN. This is two human beings talking, and CNN's broadcasting it. What do you think? Byron Donalds is lying now because he's on CNN? He's just going to not tell you the truth because he's on CNN?
They're going through the Department of Defense, obviously trying to find inefficiencies, making sure there are not legacy staffers and political appointees at DOD who, to be frank with you, are opposed to the agenda of President Trump.
The person they just quoted is not opposed to the agenda of Trump. The person they just quoted that she's asking him to talk about is pro-Trump. He can't answer. Republicans aren't allowed to answer questions. You guys can't answer questions. It's become almost impossible to talk to you guys. I spent 4 hours last night asking the same fucking question and getting the runaround. You guys, that's the whole shtick now for the Republican Party. Never answer a question. She just showed a quote from a Trump-supporting former spokesperson of the Defense Department saying Trump deserves better. And now he's like, oh, these people don't like Trump. What are we supposed to do? Like, how do you have a conversation with a MAGA at this point? You can never a direct answer. This is an easy one. Yeah, look, if that's the case, he needs to meet with Trump, and Trump needs to decide whether or not he keeps Hegseth on. Next question, please. It's as simple as that, but you can't do it. You can't, because they've all been trained to what about, never answer a question, never admit fault, what about, just keep the wheels turning. Never get pinned down, never allow yourself to be forced to answer a question.
This happens all the time when you have transitions in government. You have holdovers from previous administrations who do not share the vision that the president has. And so Pete Hegseth is trying to reorganize DOD and get it up to snuff, because let's not sit here and act like DOD was doing a bang-up job under the previous administration. Number two.
Well, yeah, what did they do wrong? Again, like now he said that, oh, Pete's great and Biden bad. What was so wrong in the last administration with Department of Defense? The Republicans that are here, could you give me an example of what was going so wrong before?
Nobody was saying a word when Lloyd Austin, the previous defense secretary, disappeared for a month. Nobody could find him. But you want to talk about nobody could get a memo signed by the chief of staff for 3 weeks? This is not even the same type of story. This is not even the same type of story.
Everybody reported that story. Fucking I reported that story. Everybody reported that story that Lloyd Austin did not tell the president when he was going under for a procedure. He did leave somebody else in charge, but it was a problem. It didn't look good on Lloyd Austin. Literally everybody reported it. But Byron Donalds doesn't know that because he's been force-fed this talking point by someone else. Hey, if they bring up Pete Hegseth, make sure you bring up Lloyd Austin and how nobody reported it. Fucking everybody reported it. It's revisionist history. You guys don't watch our side, the news on our side, so it's easy for you to believe this. Yeah, you guys never reported this. Did you watch? Because everybody reported it. In fact, I think if I remember right, I'm pretty sure it was CNN who broke the story. It was a left-leaning, it might not have been CNN. It was somebody on the left that broke this story, and there was some criticism from people like James Carville, where they said like, oh, why is the left doing this? Why are we sabotaging?
Nobody is saying a word. So you think that the defense secretary, the former defense secretary under Biden, going to the hospital for treatment, not telling the president, admitting that he did not tell the president, although there was someone that was heading at the time, is an equal thing to somebody who is giving out information to his wife, who does not have a security clearance, to his lawyer, to his brother, on a personal cell phone on a Signal chat, which he's already been, looked at for doing that with a whole bunch of folks from the administration. You're equating those two things. You think those are the same things, and you're okay with Pete Hegseth and what he did, but not okay with what Lloyd Austin did?
I'm not equating those two things. I think
it's what you just did. What are you talking about? It's what you just did. Why'd you bring it up then if you're not equating the two things? Again, everything about this is what's so tired about American politics. And I'm going to do like a both sidesism. It's fucking exhausting talking about politics with anybody. There's a reason I don't jump in panels. There's a reason you don't see me on TikTok, because TikTok is a panel 4v4 of saying, what about, and we can never have a fucking conversation. We are 3 minutes into this 2 minutes and 22 seconds into this video. He won't answer the fucking question. At some point in America, like, we've got to become people who have real discussions and answer fucking questions. We have destroyed it. I hope TikTok goes away. I know that there's a lot of people saying it's very important that we keep TikTok. Why? I don't know why it's so goddamn important that we keep TikTok. It's a cesspool. There's very few real conversations going on TikTok. I watched yesterday, and I'll just be frank. I was scrolling through lives yesterday. All the lives that had the most viewership were the people on the Unfuck America tour. And I saw some great clips that came out of there. I saw a very compelling, emotional, beautiful clip from Johnny. And I think Johnny's brilliant. And I think there was some stuff going on yesterday that was important. But I also saw a lot of clips of whataboutism, a lot of dunking on each other, a lot of celebratory shit. And at the same time that was happening, there was a great live being held on Facts Still Matter. Facts Still Matters was holding a live. It was him, US Angry AMC. I always get that mixed up. Angry USA, whatever. And Felice. And it was a great conversation. And it was filled with really, really good information. And it was addressing real concerns. It was talking about real solutions for real problems. But we're so addicted to drama at this point that, like, all the wrong things get attention. And this kind of shit, like, Byron Donalds will be held on right-wing media. They're playing the same exact clip, and they're like, look at Byron Donalds. This is how you handle the lamestream media. And on our side, we're going, he's not answering the fucking question. And the reality is, if you think he dunked, fine, but he didn't answer a question. So if you think if it's a game to you, fine. I think Andrew Schultz clip laid it out perfectly. I think to most Americans, this is a game. And it's a zero-sum game. We're all in or we're all out. I just want somebody to answer a fucking question. I want somebody to have a discussion. after this clip, I'll announce something.
You just Secretary did. Austin not being around, not even tell. Well, let me finish my statement. I'm not equating them. I'm saying that when Secretary Austin was not around, he was in the hospital. I'm glad that he's better. I'm glad he's healthy, but he disappeared. The president at the time did not know where he was. Nobody knew where he was. That is significantly worse than the situation that you're talking about, especially when we're actually having a conversation about an allegation against Secretary Hegseth and ignoring the job happening at DOD right now.
Not an allegation. Proven fact that he had communications on Signal. These are not allegations. I'm so fucking tired of these people. I'm so fucking tired of politicians. America, this is why we're fucking cooked. You can't do this in other countries. There's places that are far more democratic than we are, far more honest than we are. When this person gets paid a significant amount of money, Byron Donalds, $5,000 a year, plus all the money he gets to make from books and appearances, and he comes on CNN and he doesn't answer a fucking question ever.
Right now, where recruitment is up amongst our fighting forces,
who cares?
Morale is up amongst our fighting forces.
Says who? Now here's the line. This is the Republican line. Oh, recruitment is up. Morale is up. We got more people ready to go to war. Who cares? That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about somebody who is having communications about top secret events, and he's doing it over an unsecure app.
That's what we should be focused on, not new allegations, because CNN and other news medias want something to talk about.
Right, but some of these are not allegations. Some of these are coming from his own former press secretary. Some of these are coming because we saw the chats already with his, with the leadership on Signal. So we saw that he uses Signal and inappropriately uses it. So I guess the question to you is, you sound like you're putting these two things together and that you see them as the same. But I want to understand if you are okay with him using Signal to talk about war plans, to talk about the attack as it's happening, both with his circle and a reporter who was added on to that chat, mind you, and with his own family members. Are you okay with that?
Are we going to talk about the Signal chat from chat number 1 with White House officials? When it's already
I'm asking a question. Are we really going to talk about that? Yeah. Yeah. Please. Do we have to say please to get you to answer a fucking question, Byron Donalds? Are we really going to talk about that? Goddamn, what's your job? This is your fucking job, dude. Your job is to answer questions. Your job is to respond to what we want to know. Your job is not to decide what is and isn't important for us to know. Do your fucking job. If you're gonna waste, the money we're paying you to come on CNN, the very least you could do is answer a goddamn question.
Pretty clear that they were not talking about classified information. Don't forget that there was an Atlantic reporter on there. Was held. Hold on. That the key classified information was actually held in the classified server system that is used by White House officials. Are we going to talk about that or a different conversation?
It's always whataboutism. I'm so tired of this shit, and I'm tired of it. Like I said, on both sides. By the way, the people, somebody in here is trying to get me to respond to them. Listen, we have an open door policy here. If you would like to speak to me, you can speak to me. I don't know many shows that do that. I don't know many other programs out there that say anytime you want to come up and talk to me, if you oppose my views, come up and talk to me. You message Jen on Discord, JENNDUBB1, message Jen on Discord. Come up, let's have a conversation. I can't just talk to you guys in the chat all day. Please come up. I would love to. If you think I'm wrong about something, if you would like, I'll answer every fucking question. I'll do the exact opposite of what Byron Donalds did. I will answer any question you ask me. And I won't deflect and I won't play whataboutism. I'll answer any goddamn question. So be brave. Come on up here. I would love to have that discussion. I stand on my word that I am legitimately just looking for honest discussions. I don't care really what your politics are. If you disagree with me on something, come up, let's discuss it. Let's have real honest discussions, and let's maybe see if we can change the culture in this country where we just play whataboutism. We just play like team sports. It's getting old. This is actually pretty fucking gross. This is from Drop Site News. Here's Ryan Grimm, who has no thoughts about having a good haircut. Actually, let me do one thing before I play Ryan Grimm's video here. I promised you guys I had an announcement today. I do have an announcement. I've been informed that I cannot announce any of the details from my announcement. So I will just say this. I have the best mods in the game. I have the best support staff in the game. And thanks to one of my mods, I have been given an opportunity to how do I say this? I've been given an opportunity to be part of something that I think is really cool. And it will be released sometime later this spring, later this fall, or not this fall, late spring, early summer. As soon as I'm allowed to give you details on what it is, I will let you know. But I will be doing some filming in the near future for a project that will air in late spring, early summer. So unfortunately, I can't say anything about it. It is not one of those 20v1 Jubilee things. So you can don't worry. I'm not doing red flag shit. I don't want to run to a chair. So it's not that. I can't give you any more details than that. That's what's going on with me. So sorry that I promised an announcement. It's not happening though, or it is happening. I just can't tell you the announcement. All right, here's Ryan Grimm. The Trump administration just hired a new member to the National Security Council, and it's exactly who you think it is.
All right, speaking of who's going to fill this vacuum, let's put this element up on the screen. The first of what hopefully will become many co-bro lines with my colleague Sagar Enjeti. This Drop Site News article headlined, Trump's NSC director for Israel and Iran previously worked for Israeli Ministry of Defense. That headline is what it says it is.
Well,
you're like, wait a minute, you can do that? You can work for the Israeli Ministry of Defense and then you can work for the United States? Well, of course you can. Why did you think that you couldn't?
Well, it's very interesting, isn't it, Ryan? Yeah, let's break some of this down for the audience. So this is very important. So as I explained previously about the NSC, we just talked about power vacuum. So not only do we have Mike Waltz, who we know advocated for a war with Iran when the Israelis were here.
By the way, Trump supporting Sagar. Just to point out, this is your conservative guy. So this is not a bunch of libs. If any of you guys don't know about breaking points, this is your conservative representative over here. He is entirely fed up with the foreign policy, specifically the foreign policy on Israel. But this is your conservative guy, if any of you don't know about breaking points.
We now know that he put in charge of the Israel and the Iran portfolio, combined that portfolio under this woman, Merav Sarin. Now, Merav Sarin is the director for Israel and Iran at the NSC. Now, what we know from her own background, publicly reported, let's put that up there on the screen, please, shall we, is that she admits, quote, worked at Israel's Ministry of Defense, where she participated in negotiations in the West Bank between Israel's coordinator for government activities in the territories and Palestinian Authority officials. So this is a person, Ryan, who literally worked for the Israeli Ministry of Defense. Basically, we were just talking about the Pentagon, the Israeli version of the Pentagon, who is now working in the United States government to develop policy vis-a-vis that person.
Let's talk about why this matters a little bit. This matters for a lot of reasons, and this has broad concerns across the political spectrum. Number one, Israel somehow has kept it mostly secret to all of us. They are a nuclear power. For some reason, we've allowed Israel to get nuclear weapons. Iran is trying to keep up with Israel. Israel doesn't want Iran to be able to keep up with them, and we've decided that since Israel has Jerusalem in it, they get to have nukes. Israel is very, very concerned about controlling the Middle East. And they are very concerned about controlling not only our foreign policy, but also like our rhetoric, just national rhetoric. We are jailing people, deporting people for supporting the Palestinians, just supporting the idea that Palestinians should be allowed to live. It is concerning the amount of foreign agents and foreign influence that this administration brings daily into their circles. And this is somebody now who is in the National Security Council who will have access to some pretty top secret shit. And what we know about Israel, more than anything, is they love spying on us. They love infiltrating our government. They love trying to control our members of Congress. And they're just welcomed into this administration.
I should also mention there that biography comes from the Foundation for Defense of Democracies, which is the probably single most pro-war with Iran organization in the United States today.
And so So that was previously known. What wasn't known is that she's working at the NSC. There was never a public announcement made about that, but the NSC has confirmed it to us.
Yes, that's right.
We can read this NSC spokesperson Brian Hughes says the following: Merav is a patriotic American who has served in the United States government for years, including for President Trump, Senator Ted Cruz, and Congressman James Comer. We are thrilled to have
Turning Point as a booth at my local mall passing out free copies of the Constitution. How ironic. That's out of the Glenn Beck playbook. We love the Constitution.
her expertise in the NSC, where she carries out the president's agenda on a range of Middle East issues. Because I had asked, do you have anything set up in place to mitigate potential conflicts of interest? Because, you know, she is overseeing policy with a country where she previously served. That country, and this is why this matters so much. That country, Israel, is currently trying to blow up our negotiations with Iran and between Iran and the United States. We are involved, and we're going to talk about those more in a moment. We're involved in these direct talks with Iran because the president of the United States has repeatedly said he believes that negotiations are a better solution to our problem with Iran than an attack. Israel disagrees.
Israel wants to attack. They got all these big new shiny weapons, and they've really hated Iran for a very long time. And they've been building up all these weapons with Iran in mind, and now this Trump administration is like, maybe we ought to just negotiate peace. And they're like, we better get some of our people in there. And then just immediately they have people in there. Amy said biggest danger of Trump and his administration is they are easily and obviously bought. I agree with that. And Cam's spilling the beans. You were invited to sniff the seats at the Tour de France. I'm so proud of you. Can't wait for the video to come out. Thank you, Cam.
Israel wants us to attack.
Yes.
Israel has argued internally that it wants us to attack. So the NSC director for both of those countries previously worked for Israel.
How do you get a security clearance if you're a former employee of a foreign government? It boggles the mind.
Right. And that's the real answer. The crazy thing is that's the real answer. How can you get security clearance when you've worked for like another country's defense department? Oh, because it's Israel. Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. They fund everything. I remember they give us a bunch of money. Yeah, that's fine.
Inevitably, Ryan, what are we going to be smeared as? Anti-Semites, calling into question somebody's loyalty? No, I would say this about anyone. I'm Indian descent. Okay,
religion doesn't matter. This is about the country.
If the guy running the NSC India desk is a Indian citizen or former Indian citizen
for the Indian
or
military.
worked for the Indian military, I would say absolutely not. How can you trust this guy's judgment? And then even worse, if you're in charge of the Iran portfolio, that's like taking a former Indian military official who happens to have U.S. citizen and put him on the Pakistan desk. What? Same, vice versa. You're going to put somebody in charge of the mortal enemy of a government of you used to work for? And by the way, mortal enemy, I'm using their language, the Israeli language. That's how they see them.
I mean, this is up this administration's playbook, though. Like, who do you put in charge of the EPA? An oil tycoon. Who do you put in charge of the transportation? Sean Duffy, who wants to kill clean energy. This is what this administration does. They just take places where they don't really agree. They just literally have the department, and whatever that department's supposed to do, they find somebody who wants to do the opposite of the role of that department, and they put them in place. And so, ironically, like Republicans are saying, "That's good. That's good. Now we won't have that pesky EPA." Okay, well then now we're just paying money for nothing. Not only are we still paying all these people, but we also don't get clean air. Our air gets worse. Our water gets worse. The stuff that the chemicals that are in our water get more prolific. The irony here in this like ideological battle is that consistently Republicans put people in places where they shouldn't be to break systems, and then Republicans complain that the system is broken. This is another one of those instances. Donald Trump has said, I want to end the war with Israel and Palestine. I want to bring peace to the Middle East. And the way that we're going to bring peace to the Middle East is through negotiation. Now, he hasn't been able to do it in Israel and Palestine yet, but he's saying this is what I want to do in Israel and with Israel and Iran. And ironically, the Trump supporters in this chat are disagreeing with me because I'm not on the same side as you. I'm agreeing with Trump. And this is where we have this divide. You see me, you get mad at me, your reaction is to disagree with me, but I'm agreeing with your guy. It says a lot about you that you're on that side of the aisle and you're like, oh, yeah, this is fine. This is fine. Trump wants to make America better. Okay, well, why is he putting people in place with the exact opposite views of him?
Right.
I'm not saying I believe that, but that's how they view it.
And in fact, the general policy of the U.S. government, and I've seen this with friends firsthand, is to not send somebody of a particular nationality to serve in a particular country. Let's say you are, and I've seen this firsthand. Let's say you're Iranian American, you're born here in the United States. You are as American as I am. They will not have you work on Iran inside the CIA or the State Department, even though you might speak Persian and know the country. It's a little too close. There's some suspicion and borderline racism. If you're Pakistani American, you're born here in the United States, they will not have you.
But what do you mean, like who? Are you watching this shit? I'm talking about who. I'm telling you who. We're talking about who. This person disagrees with Trump that he's put in the NSC. I forgot their name already. I can go back.
Serving Pakistan, Ecuadorian American, they won't send you.
I think that's
now, there are exceptions to this.
I will defend that. I think that's actually a good policy.
I think it's fine too. I get it. Like I understand where it's coming from, because it's like, all right, look, we're all Americans here, and there's a lot of places we can send you. We're going to send the Iranian to Ecuador, the Ecuadorian to Iran.
Right.
But so that's like it or not, that is the general approach. You can find exceptions, but that is the general approach that the American government takes to foreign countries and your place.
All right, I'm cut it off there. I mean, the incompetence and the corruption that happens. Trump doesn't know. I don't know why you guys think Trump is aware of what's going on. This is a guy who sits at a table with a pen and waits around while somebody else reads the executive orders, and he's always surprised, like, "Ooh, that's a good one. I kind of like that one. I'm going to sign it." This is not for all the people that were like, "Oh, it was a shadow government under Joe Biden." This is a shadow government. Donald Trump is not very clear on what's happening at any time. In fact, he says it all the time. I don't know anything about that. He just wants to do his thing, which is be on TV. He wants to sign executive orders. He wants to get revenge, and he wants to play a lot of golf, and he's doing it. And because of that, because of his lack of attention and his lack of work ethic, he's just letting a bunch of psychopaths run our government. FOD said, because of this, I see Israel proxied Iran more. Yeah, I think that's likely. Mike Huckabee, who is the ambassador to, I think he's the ambassador to Israel, I'm pretty sure. Mike Huckabee was asked to make a statement. In Israel, they are blockading food and medical aid to the Palestinians. And so he decided to come on here because he thinks that the Palestinians should get food and aid. The turn that this takes is incredible. I started watching this. I was like, good for you, Mike Huckabee. And then it took the most bizarre turn. I'm like, oh, now I get it.
Hello, I'm Mike Huckabee, U.S. Ambassador to Israel. This past weekend, Dr. Hanan Balki, who is the regional coordinator for the WHO for the Eastern Mediterranean region, called upon me to put more pressure on Israel to bring humanitarian aid to the people of Gaza. I appreciate the message from Dr. Balki, and today what I would like to suggest is that we work together on putting the pressure where it really belongs, on Hamas.
Oh, yeah.
To give...
Yeah. He asked me if I could talk to the Israelis about allowing food and medical aid to get through to people who are dying. And so naturally, I said no. I'm going to talk to Hamas. I'm going to talk to Hamas instead, but just through a camera because they're not going to talk to me.
Give us the opportunity to open up those humanitarian channels.
Give us the opportunity.
So we call upon Hamas to sign an agreement so that humanitarian aid can flow into Gaza to the people who desperately need it.
I like how they say, like, oh, it can't go in there unless they sign. They don't have to sign an agreement. You can just send it. We can just send it in there. No agreement needs to be signed. It is fucking insane how cucked we are to Israel. Honest to God, the amount of cuckery to Israel and to Russia is absolutely fucking insane. We side with these I just call them terrorists. We side with them over and over again, and every time they do something wrong, we blame the people that they harm. Ukraine started this war. We can't give aid to the Palestinians because Gaza won't allow us to use this as leverage to negotiate something that they don't want.
it. When that happens and hostages are released, which is an urgent matter for all of us, then we hope that that humanitarian aid will flow and flow freely, knowing that it will be done without Hamas being able to confiscate and abuse their own people by not allowing those resources to get to the people who desperately need it.
That's a fucking insane statement. Israel is blocking aid and food to starving men, women, and children who are not part of this war, who are just trying to avoid dying. And the rest of the world's like, hey, Huckabee, could you do something about this? Like, why are we just letting people starve to death? He's like, I got it, guys. Let me go on and criticize them. I'll criticize the starving people. I will not criticize the blockade, though. I don't know. Do you guys like being cucks to Israel? Is that fun for you? Is it fun that this tiny country in the Middle East is just running shit here? They're pulling all the strings. Speaking of being cucks, we're off to North Carolina now, where North Carolina they're just trying to voter suppression their way into maintaining power. If you remember, there was a Supreme Court race in North Carolina that still is, it got called, but they're still trying to decide whether or not the liberal justice, which was, what is her name? Allison Riggs. She beat Jefferson Griffin by 735 votes. And they're trying to figure out now, how are we going to complete this? Because Republicans don't want to hear anything about this. Republicans don't want to accept a loss. So naturally, who are they going to go after? The military.
Well, we all know how spin helps win elections. We see it in campaign commercials, stump speeches, and candidate debates, right up until the final votes are counted. But months after Election Day, Republicans in Raleigh are still spinning in the race for North Carolina's Supreme Court. It's the only election in the country that still hasn't been decided. Democrat Allison Riggs beat Republican Jefferson Griffin by 735 votes. But Griffin is suing to have thousands of ballots, mostly from military families stationed overseas, tossed out. Those are the facts. Now here's the spin. Republicans say those votes for Supreme Court don't count because overseas military voters didn't show ID. In fact, the state...
Yeah, fuck them. Yeah, they're just over there. They're over there serving the country. Fuck them, though. If you're serving the country and you don't vote for Republicans, fuck you.
Never even asked them for ID. But the rules in this election were the same as in previous elections, approved by both Republicans and Democrats, and except for Jefferson, not one other candidate in either party, winner or loser, this year or previous years, has asked for those overseas military votes not to be counted. Look, I'm a Republican. I support...
What were you guys over there? Oh, fuck these lefties always. This is a Republican. Probably voted, like you said, supported Jefferson Supreme Court. Oh, no. Right in the middle of the video, all you guys complaining about this lib found out he was a Republican who voted for Jefferson, who just doesn't think that we should disenfranchise the people in the military, that we shouldn't just not count people's votes that are in the military because we don't like it. We don't like that we lost. This man has more balls than any of you. This man has something called integrity, something that many of you could learn a lesson from.
Republican. I supported Jefferson for Supreme Court. I wanted him to win. But spinning your way into a Supreme Court seat isn't the way to do it. If you change the rules in this election, after the election is over, then every election could be in doubt in the future. So here's my spin on North Carolina's election for the Supreme Court.
He's no Republican. He's a rhino. Guys, we figured it out. Eddie, thank you so much. Eddie has let us know that the difference between a Republican and a rhino is that Republicans don't want military votes to count. And rhinos do want military votes to count. We now have identified the difference between the two. Fuck the troops, says Eddie. Fuck the troops, says MAGA. But the rhinos, they stand with the troops.
Those same overseas military votes counted for president, and Congress and governor and legislators and county commissioners and all the other judges who were elected, then why shouldn't they count for the Supreme Court race? Sorry, fellow Republicans, you can't spin your way out of this one. We all know
he's on PBS, so he is a lib. I discredit everybody who doesn't lick Donald Trump's asshole. If you are pointing out corruption on our side of the aisle, then you are a rhino. It's got to hurt to be that dumb. I swear, it really does have to hurt. Hey, speaking of heroes, your guy Elon Musk had a really bad fucking day yesterday. Tesla profits dropped 71% on weak sales and anti-Elon Musk sentiment. Tesla's flailing sales figures have put the company closer to the red than it has been in years, according to financial results released Tuesday. What happened, you guys? You guys can't pick this up for them? You guys don't have enough money to go out and buy all these Teslas? What's going on? Where's that money at? Put your money where your mouth is, Republicans. Go buy yourself a Tesla. The electric automaker reported $409 million in net income on $19.3 billion in revenue after delivering almost 337,000 EVs in the first quarter of the year. That sounds pretty good. They made $409 million off of that amount of sales. Not great margins, but hey, we're profitable because of our sales of Tesla. Maybe. The company's net income reflects a 71% drop from the same quarter last year. It was the worst quarter for Tesla deliveries in more than 2 years and came on the heels of the company's first ever year-to-year drop in sales. Tesla's income was buffered by selling $595 million in zero emissions tax credits. Oh, wait. $595 million is bigger than $409 million. That sounds an awful lot like Tesla would be in the red if they weren't a bunch of fucking welfare queens. Oh, so the government is the only reason that Tesla's profitable? The government gives them tax credits for free that then they can sell to make money? Cool. Cool. Where you guys talk? Where's the spending shit now? $595 million in zero emission tax credits. That's more than that's what did we say they've saved in total in cuts? It was like 60 I could pull it up from yesterday, 60 something. Yeah, where's the complaints about this? Where's your guys' complaints about the federal government propping up an auto manufacturer? Why is that not a waste of money? Why are my tax dollars going towards Elon Musk's bottom line? Somebody want to explain that to me? Are you guys going to be up in arms about this? The NGOs are getting. This is an NGO, a non-government organization, a company, if you will, and their guy works in the government, and he convinces the government to give him tax subsidies all the time. This is the only example of all. You can talk about Letitia James, you can talk about anybody. The only example I can think of somebody who works for the government, who is directly profiting from the government, is Elon Musk. He's awarding himself contracts, keeping his company from going under. The only reason that they aren't in the red right now is because of our tax dollars. Where's the outrage? Really, bro? What about the environment? Well, yeah, I'm glad that electric vehicles are taking care of the environment. I'm just wondering for you. I'm wondering for you guys. I'm actually I'm okay with tax subsidies. I do hate this. I do think this is silly. I think it's absolutely fucking insane that if the government gives you zero emission tax credits, that you can sell them. Because what that does, what this is, it's a loophole. It's like, oh, we're going to give you tax credits for not putting out emissions because we want cleaner air, but you can just sell it to somebody who is making the air dirtier. So if you sell them all, the air is still dirtier. I think it's one of the dumbest things our government does. I don't get it. What's the point? Why are you allowed to sell it? Why don't you just force companies to do things in an environmentally safe way? Of course, you guys aren't going to be mad at that, right? You're just going to stay mad at me. Sorry, I'm reporting on Elon Musk. That's on me. Let's see this. Here's Elon on his earnings call yesterday admitting that it's mostly his fault.
Is this the earnings call? Wait. This might be the wrong one. I'm not sure. It might be included in this. I might have added the longer video on purpose. I can't remember.
Musk's empire suffering a major blow tonight with profits plunging more than 70%. And Musk, just moments ago, in a call that we've obtained, admits this reason as to why.
There's been some blowback for the time that I've been spending in government with the Department of Government Efficiency, or DOGE. And there are some challenges, and I expect that this year will be. There'll probably be some unexpected bumps this year.
Boy, he sounds sad, doesn't he? He sounded really sad. Why doesn't everybody love me? How come you guys can't love me? It's like everybody's figuring out I'm a massive scammer, that I'm not an inventor, that I'm not a genius, that I'm not important. I've just scammed a lot of people my whole life and made a bunch of money off of scamming people. It's weird. America's starting to wake up and figure that out. Not you guys, MAGA. Don't worry about it. You can still call him your god. But he seems really down.
This earnings call that's going on right now from Tesla. There will be more bumps, he says, because even though Musk tonight said he is keeping his word and stopping his full-time work for Trump and DOGE next month, which he is required to do with his role as a special government employee, right? So that's what he's already said he was going to do. The truth is, the headline may not be that he's stepping aside as he was saying he was due. It's actually that he is not going anywhere.
I'll continue to spend, a day or two per week on government matters for as long as the president would like me to do so.
A day or two a week. I mean, 2 days a week out of 5. I mean, you get it, right? That's 40%. That's a lot of time. I mean, that would mean for roughly the next 3.5 years, if Trump wants him around, Elon Musk is going to be in the Oval Office with Trump a couple days a week. Now, that's obviously significant. And Elon is speaking on this Tesla call, spoke for a majority of the call, in fact.
90 minutes. He's learning from Trump. I can cut that off there. That's the only part I really wanted to show. Learning from Trump. Going on 90 minutes. This guy's in his feelings. You guys got to go out and buy Teslas. You got to go out and buy some Teslas for Elon. He's really hurting, guys. It's very important that you go out and buy Teslas. It's very important that Elon Musk be allowed to continue to be a fucking moron and to not cut shit. He's cut virtually nothing. What was the number? I can pull it up from yesterday. I think it's like 62 billion. We're going to cut 2 trillion. Well, we'll do 1 trillion. Okay, we've cut 150 billion. And then we look at it and it's like 60 billion. Everything he does, everything about that guy, his entire life has been a lie and a scam. And if you still like him, that's fine. But he's a liar. He's a scammer. He like, for example, if I go and I look at the valuations of different auto companies, let me show you an example. Let's go Tesla stock price. Where are we at? All right, so if we look at Tesla stock price, it's $256.60. If I look at GM stock price, $46. So it's 5x the GM. If I look at Ford, it's $10. So it's a 20x Ford Motor. Ford, if you look at Q1 revenue for all these companies, Ford had a revenue of $42.8 billion. GM, they are releasing theirs on April 29th, but the consensus estimate is 43 billion. And Tesla's revenue was 20 billion. So Tesla makes half the money and is worth 5x and 10x. I know that you guys think that you're economists, and maybe you are, but I'm going to need you to explain to me how a company that makes half the money is worth 5x and 10x. Can anybody explain that to me? How is Tesla making half the money and worth more? How'd that happen? It's vibes, it's feel, it's gut, it's common sense. They say words, they say phrases to you guys like common sense so that you stop thinking about it. Well, everybody knows Elon Musk. Why is his company worth 20x? Why? Someone explain it to me. If this guy's not a massive fraud, how is his company that makes half the money of GM and Ford worth so much more? This is I've tried explaining this. We'll keep trying to explain it. VC, tech VCs, it's a Ponzi scheme. All these massive companies, Nvidia, Facebook, Google, Uber, I don't know what Lyft's like. I don't know what their stock price is like. Airbnb, all these companies with massive valuations are fake. It's fraud. It's a Ponzi scheme because the same people invest in those companies that invest in all the other companies, and they use stock as collateral to buy into these companies. So they artificially keep their stock high, and they have to keep moving their stock price up, and they have to do it with other investors. So they tell you, the investor, invest. Anybody who's invested in Tesla right now, fine if you think it's a good investment. It can be a good investment, meaning you can have a return without it making any sense. And that's what we have with Tesla. It doesn't make sense. It's all a fugazi. It's all bullshit. They make less money than all of the other auto manufacturers, and they're worth way more. Why? Because of Elon Musk. Because Elon Musk has sold you on this idea that he's a revolutionary, that he's an incredible inventor. But what he really is he's just like a great marketer. He's a con man. And every time Elon Musk is put in a position to run a company, he fucks it up. Every fucking time. The only reason he's still the CEO of Tesla is because of the agreement that they wrote that basically insulates him. Basically, everybody with voting rights is in his inner circle. That's why he can lose money and pay himself $50 billion. This is all so fraudulent. And that's why China's passing us up. That's why these other countries are passing us up, is because we are our entire market almost is a Ponzi scheme. It makes absolutely no sense. So many pre-revenue companies have stock valuations higher than Ford. Explain to me how that makes any fucking sense. The stock price is supposed to reflect the value of the stock. And we allowed these rich folks to just manipulate our stock market and change the rules. And they allow speculation now. And you can you make a lot of money off of speculation. It's just one big fucking casino. The difference between Ford and Tesla is that it's like the difference between video poker and those Buffalo nickel slots. If any of you guys ever go to casinos, you know the Buffalo, and it comes down. Your odds are actually better on video poker, but more people go to the Buffalo. Why? Because it's shiny and it has a big jackpot over it, and it makes a lot of noise, and it has bells and whistles, and your seat shakes when you hit a jackpot. But if you're just looking at it like what